guys, Jared here, and wanted to talk very quickly about Resident Evil. As you no doubt have heard by now, Resident Evil 0 is being remade for the PS3, PS4, PC, Xbox 360, and Xbox One. Blickety-dow. And I have not had a chance to actually try out the original Resident Evil remake that was brought over to the PS3, PS4, Xbox 360, Xbox One, and PC as well, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. I was a huge fan of that remake when it hit the GameCube, and I'm kind of excited that they're bringing out Resident Evil 0. Part of me sort of wishes that this was the next logical step in Capcom releasing a totally remade version of Resident Evil 2, but given Capcom's financial state right now, I seriously doubt that's what this is leading to. I actually think this is a quick cash grab, that they're doing this just to get as much money as they possibly can. And you know what? Whatever, that's okay. For those sorts of remakes, I'm okay with that. I really don't mind. It would be nice if they offered a physical release for those that aren't really into the digital downloads, but whatever. I wanted to talk today just about some memories associated with those games. And it's funny, the original Resident Evil remake on the GameCube, when that came out, man, I was like, wow, they've got this, they're going to come back in a huge way after the, I don't want to say disaster, but after the less than, well, I don't know how to put this, but basically the N64 was not as successful as they had hoped, let's put it that way. And the GameCube it was actually even less popular than the N64, and I never understood that, you know? The GameCube was such an excellent system, and when it was announced that not only was Resident Evil 4 going to be coming out for the system exclusively, but that we were going to get this Resident Evil remake, we were going to get Resident Evil 0, we were going to have a version of Resident Evil 2, 3, and Code Veronica. Like, the whole series would be on one platform for like the first time sort of deal. And I was so excited, man. And when I got my hands on the Resident Evil remake, I thought it was absolutely brilliant. And I'm kind of PO'd at myself for not checking out Resident Evil Remake on the PlayStation 4. And given I have a lot of games in the backlog right now for, not the backlog, excuse me, in the queue right now for the channel, I think I'm actually going to do that. I think I'm going to revisit Resident Evil Remake on the PlayStation 4 just because, like I say, man, I loved that game, and being able to experience it again is something that I really want to do, because it was at a point when everyone was dissing Nintendo. They're like, oh, they're for kids, look at the GameCube, it's this purple lunchbox, look at Super Mario Sunshine, oh my goodness, kids. And then the Resident Evils came out, and man, were they awesome. They were absolutely awesome. And when Resident Evil 0 came out, I loved that sort of pair system, or whatever it was called, where you could switch between the two characters, Rebecca and whatever his face is, I don't remember, and on the train. And I remember being blown away by the visuals on both games. And you know what? They hold up incredibly well. I actually watched a trailer for the PlayStation 4 version of Resident Evil Remake, and I was just blown away. I was like, wow, you know, this still looks amazing. And I'm positive that if I put in my GameCube right now, or not even, I could grab my Wii, put in Resident Evil Remake right now with the component cables, and I'm sure it would look stunning. But to have it upscaled to 1080p, that's going to be absolutely awesome. And I'm excited to check that out, and I'm glad that I saw this news for Resident Evil 0 getting remade. And I know, like I said, I'm sure a lot of you are going to say, oh, it's just a cheap, you know, quick cash grab, and it is. It absolutely is. But Capcom right now is in really dire straits, and they need money. So I'm okay with that. With these games, I really am okay with that. As long as they're not super expensive, around $20 on the PlayStation Store or Xbox Live Arcade Store, or whatever it's called, the Marketplace, that's it. I'm okay with that. I really am. And I really enjoy the PlayStation 4 controller for the D-pad. And even this one here for the Xbox One, the D-pad is fantastic. So I don't know what I'm going to do. We'll see. I'm probably going to get the PS4 version, even though really I probably should get the PC version, make it a hell of a lot easier to capture footage, but whatever. So I really wonder if they're ever going to revisit Resident Evil 2. I would love that. You know, I would love that. To see that rebuilt from the ground up. That would be really awesome. But hold off on the microtransactions, Capcom, and you'd have yourself a winner. You know, it's funny, with the Resident Evil series, the more I reminisce about it, the more I like harken back to that simpler time, and not necessarily simpler time for gameplay, but more so for the actual sort of setting. I miss when you were in like one building or one city that had just fallen apart and, you know, things were going crazy. When they started to expand it more and more and more, I thought it was, I don't know, it wasn't the same to me. And I want to go back to Resident Evil, and I think I'm going to do that. I think after this video, I'm going to go and download Resident Evil Remake on the PlayStation 4 and go have some fun. So what about you guys? What are some of your favorite memories with Resident Evil Remake or the Resident Evil franchise as a whole? And with this news of Resident Evil 0 coming back, are you excited about that? Are you looking forward to it? And what do you think of the prospect of potentially having a Resident Evil 2 remade from the ground up? I don't think it's ever going to happen, but if it were to happen, what would you think of that? Would you be excited about that? Anyways, guys, leave a comment. Let's get a good conversation going. And, well, in the meantime, I'm going to go and play some Resident Evil Remake on the PlayStation 4.